Tempelina, and today I have a speed paint for you of Decidueye and Shaymin fusion. So this is a design that I did not make. I commissioned it from somebody on Twitter, and I will link their Twitter in the bio of this video. But basically, I really wanted to commission a design that was a Decidueye but had these kind of Shaymin elements, and I knew that I'm alright at designing characters, but I figured it would be better to have someone more professional do it. So they came up with this really cool design and I just wanted to draw it, so that's what this is. My sketching process here, what I'll do first is I will kind of have like a rough sketch of everything, and my lines from rough sketches tend to be pretty clean. So I will clean it up afterwards, and I will just kind of add on elements one by one. The first thing I try to do is I do like the general body shape of the character, and then I will add details after that, and that's what I'm just doing here. I'm adding all of the little details onto this character. So for example, Decidueye's bow tie, the designer of this character made that into a little flower instead, like Shaymin has. And I forgot the feather on the head, so I'm going back and adding that in. But that was like the first pass of the rough sketch, and now I am actually going in and cleaning that up. And what I used to do was, I used to do this really clean sketch and then I would line it after that. But about a year and a half ago, I realized that the sketch, this final sketch, is really clean anyway, so I just use it as the line art layer now because, you know, art has no distinct rules. There's nothing telling me that I can't just do that. You'll notice that I will reverse my canvas often in these drawings. It's just because, you know, when you're drawing something and then you reverse it and you mirror your canvas and it just looks absolutely horrible and like unrecognizable from what it was before. I try to avoid that, so I just regularly will mirror my canvas to do that. But here I'm just adding all the little flowery bits because, you know, Shaymin has those cute little flowers on its body, and this character also has that too. They also have a bit of a different color scheme. I would say that it's kind of a mix between shiny Decidueye and shiny Shaymin. Like the color of the cloak that it has that actually also becomes the tail is the color of the shiny Shaymin, but then the wings are, you know, they have a color that's more akin to shiny Decidueye. But I think the colors work together really well. The designer of this character did a really good job. So I'm just adding some details to the flowers, and this is me kind of figuring out the shading. So I've been doing this cell shading thing for like a few drawings, and when I started drawing digitally, I was way too scared to do cell shading because I don't know why, I just felt like it was harder than soft shading, but I've finally begun to kind of, you know, have my first foray into that. And this was the first, I think, full drawing where I was like, all right, I'm just gonna cell shade it. We're just gonna see how it works. And so the art program that I use to draw is Clip Studio Paint. And usually what I'll do is I'll make a linear light layer, and I'll make the shading in that so it just appears to make all the colors darker. And when I go in my first pass of the shading, it's really, really dark just so I can see easily where I'm shading, and then I will lighten it later on. So right here I'm kind of just shading the face, and there's some soft shading on the beak there. I'm going to be doing some more soft shading in other places because I kind of can't resist it, and I just think it makes it look better in general. But there's me making the cell shaded layer a little lighter, and then I'm figuring out the highlights now. Oh, before I do that, though, I soften the shading in some of the places. So I kind of do like a hybrid between, it's cell shaded in some places, but in some places, you know, the lines are also blurry between where it's shaded and where it's not. And I think it ends up looking pretty okay. So what I usually do when I shade a piece is I will do all of the shading, and then I'll do all the highlights, and then I will shade the shading, and I will do highlights on the highlights, and it's kind of a weird process, but I'm using this really bright yellow color for the highlights just so I can see really easily where all those areas of light are. And then after I'm kind of done with this, I'm gonna adjust the color so it doesn't look like the rays of the sun are beaming directly onto their face, because I don't think they'd like that. This is a character, I'm trying to make lore for them. I'm trying to, you know, say that they're like this explorer in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon universe who is like a cartographer, and they will go to places and dungeons at night and try to make maps of those places, and they have a little crew of this explorer team that's like composed of characters that I made for my friends. It's really fun. I enjoy PMB a lot. It's been a huge influence in my life, and even out of college and, you know, in the working world, I'm still finding myself coming back to it and enjoying it. I'm just trying some backgrounds here. I tried the cross-hatching, but I didn't really like it, so I ended up just going with something a little different, just doing a little floral pattern in the background, and then that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm gonna try to post more speed paints in the future, but we'll see. All right.